is episode 155 of the MMA Outsiders. I'm Zain, he's Jack Gold. Thursday afternoon, just a little bit after 3 p.m. Eastern. Jack, how are you this afternoon as the weather is continuing to get colder? I guess that's on our side of the country, if you will. Although it isn't as cold as it was maybe about 2 or so weeks ago, but I think we're still hanging in there as we get closer and closer to Super Bowl Sunday. So with that all in mind, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. And after the last couple basketball games, I feel like I had to rep out the squad this week. Zain
Yeah, you did.
Bandos.
Yeah, you did it. We did it right. Speaking of, I was just there last night to watch Illinois beat Northwestern by 40. So the vibes cannot be higher on the college basketball front. And to be quite honest with you, the vibes really couldn't be higher on the sports front either, because essentially in every sport these days, there's been there's been madness all around. We have MMA madness, we have NBA trade deadline madness, we have the Super Bowl on Sunday. I mean, we couldn't be living in more unbelievable sports times, could we?
I'm loving it. Listen, there's dead times. The dead time is all winter, Christmas, New Year's. Then we have a little bit of that summer dead time, but we got baseball. If you're into that, the basketball's ending. Right now, after the dead time of winter, is everything's going pedal to the metal. UFC's back. Our local Chicago Bulls have about 11 point guards on the roster right now.
No kidding. You're 100% right.
Baseball free agency just wrapped up. The Super Bowl is this weekend. It's my Grandpa Bob's birthday, 87th birthday on Sunday as well.
Happy birthday.
He's rooting for the Seahawks big time. We're Patriots haters over here.
Okay.
But I'm feeling good.
I'm rooting for the Seahawks too, by the way.
I'm loving it. Sam Darnold redemption arc.
Yeah, no kidding. It should be a good Super Bowl. We will have much more ETB content that is Super Bowl related over the next 3 days. But here we're able to talk about some MMA now. So this is episode 155 of the show. Let's get into a few particulars. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching live. Right now, we have 29 people watching this stream across a bunch of different platforms. So shout out to you guys for doing so. You can go to youtube.com/ETB Network. I'm Zain Bando, a staff writer for MMA Knockout, and he is Jack Gold, an independent MMA content creator who's been busier than ever. Jack, now that we're in the month of February, anything exciting that you want to quickly plug before we get started?
Listen, we got some. I was going to save it till the end of the show, but we'll do it now. Friends of the program have fights coming out this week that we'll see if I'm covering in March. We'll see, but Reese Baby Goose Watkins has a fight March 15th for Fury 117, and we're rocking with Baby Goose. It's wartime, baby.
Where's that fight at, Jack?
The Imagine venues in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, well, it would not be a Fury show if it wasn't in Houston, right? So, of course, it's there. Good luck to your guy. We actually have a few comments. Let's see if we can pop some of these up. And no, these are all just retweets. So thank you to everyone who's retweeted the stream so far, or reposted the stream. Rather, I really, really appreciate it. A bunch of fellow contributors within the network sphere, so I appreciate you guys. That's awesome that that Reese has a fight coming up. Good luck to him. Anything else you wanted to plug before we get started?
That's really it. We're rocking and rolling and seeing what comes next, and happy to be here with you, Zain.
Happy to be here with you too. But before we move on, though, and I meant to ask you this, who will be Reese Watkins' opponent in March?
All right, I wish I had a first name, but I do have the fight poster. Let me pull this up for us. It is a guy with the name of Carson. You might know his first name, but even Tapology doesn't have this event up yet. So I haven't been able to look. The main event I know is Anthony Wint fighting for the vacant Fury heavyweight title. Here we go. Let's share this. Let's share this up here. Bang, bang, bang.
Here we go.
He's here, ready to fight. Jackson Glass will be fighting on this card. He's a 2-0 phenom. We've got a friend of the program, Nathan Rivera, commenting happy here. But, man, Reese about to catch another body. If you didn't watch APFC, the last event in New Mexico, knockout of the month, one of the knockouts of the year, head kick finish from Reese Baby Goose Watkins.
Yeah, that was a very nice finish for sure. And that will be on Fight Pass, I assume?
That will be on Fight Pass.
Okay, so it should be a good card. Stay
March
tuned
15th
for
is a
that.
Sunday, so I know you're not doing nothing. Football's over. You better be watching.
No, I'll watch the card.
But
Knowing my
yeah.
schedule, though, you'll just have to remind me because I watch a million things a week. So as long as you tell me, when to turn it on, I will turn it on for sure. There is your plug for UFC Fight Pass. But nonetheless, though, before we continue, of course, you can also listen to the MMA Outsiders wherever you get your podcast, or if you're super lazy, you can pull up YouTube Premium, put us on in the background, and use other apps on your smart devices as well. That's also another cheat code to get around all of that. But Jack,
big plug.
yeah,
That's the big brain activities from Zain right there.
that sure is. And as someone who's a YouTube Premium stan, I know that all well. I do that more often than not, especially when it comes to listening to music. I'm like a total YouTube Premium geek. I know the correct setup and I know where to drag everything. I've gotten pretty good at YouTube Premium, and it's probably the best. I think it's now $10.99 that I spend every month. So I'm just gonna say this. I don't understand people who don't have it. It's just me. Like if you are someone who uses YouTube on a regular basis, it's very well worth it because you just don't have to worry about anything. But that's neither here nor there. I digress. Let's get into the show though. We had a UFC numbered event this past week to end the month of January. It was UFC 325. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, number 2 from Sydney, Australia, and the Kudos Bank Arena. Alexander Volkanovski gets the job done once again by unanimous decision to retain his UFC featherweight title. Scorecards were a little bit debatable on most of the MMA social media sphere, but overall, what did you think of the rematch? What do we think is next for Volk? And, just kind of where do we think Diego Lopez goes from here, as I'm using his words, not my own, quote unquote, after the fight. He said that this is a step-by-step process and that he does feel like with a little bit more improvement, he will be back in the likes of contendership, if you will, within the next 6 months to a year. So just overall, your reaction to the fight, and then I will give my thoughts.
Listen, it went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to be a repeat of the first fight without the knockdown. There was a knockdown, but it wasn't counted. And
which I thought was very strange. What did you think?
They do it all the time with like weird little pop up and downs. They don't count takedowns. They don't count knockdowns. It's all over the place. But I'm very impressed. I mean, Volk is the GOAT. He's the best. Like, I don't know what people think was going to happen. I said last week, it was like, I don't know what Diego Lopez could have changed since the last fight. And it was nothing. Now, I love Diego Lopez, and I think he's going to fight the loser of Lerone Murphy versus Movsar Evloev.
I do too. And I'm just going to say this. We don't have a banner for it, but I think that's one of the only fights on UFC London that I'm looking forward to, because someone said it best, and I don't mean to divert, but because you just brought it up, someone had the perfect description for UFC London, and you tell me if you agree with this or not. It's basically a glorified Cage Warriors event that is UFC branding, with the main event essentially being a title eliminator fight in the UFC featherweight division. What do you think of that description? Do you think it's a stretch, or do you think it's 100% right?
So I think what is throwing people off here, I think I disagree. I think it is a phenomenal card. I might be the only person on earth that is like, oh, this is a fantastic card. The placement of the fights is very odd.
Okay, that part I can agree with, because I looked at the order and I'm like, there's no way this can be the order going into the actual event.
Because here's how I see it. Like, as of right now, the main card of UFC London, the opener is MVP versus Sam Patterson, which is a weird matchup, but I'm pumped for it. Like, I love Sam Patterson. I think he deserves a step up in competition. I think
this is weird. The biggest fight of his career. It's
by far, but I think it's weird for MVP. But like, I get it. On the flip, why is that the main card opener? And then it's Curtis Campbell, Danny Silva, Iwo versus Austin Lane, Robin Delizzi, CLD, Luke Riley, Michael Aswell, co-main.
I think Luke Riley should have opened the card.
I think It's just, I think the whole thing's messed up. I think the whole thing's messed up. Okay, we're gonna do a quick sidetrack here, and I'm gonna pull up UFC London screen share with the fellas.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna tell you how I would have laid this card out.
And I guess we'll put this up because they just announced the full card like a day and a half ago. So I think this is
Agreed.
more fitting. So
I think if we just go through this and we rearrange it, main event: Movsar Evloev, Lerone Murphy.
that's obvious, right? That's what people are paying to see anyway.
Obvious. Co-main event: you put MVP and Sam Patterson in the co-main event.
Okay.
You put Roman Dolidze CLD in one of that 3-4 slot.
Right, because Dolidze is still a contender in that division, so that makes sense.
You put Nathaniel Wood, Lozine Kita in that 3-4 spot.
See, I would argue that fight should be the first or second fight on the main card.
That's fine too. That's a main card fight that either opens the main card 2-3-4. Not maybe, let's say Movsar, MVP, Roman CLD, and then up for grabs for the next 3. Let's put Nathaniel Wood and Kita as the opener. Just me. You got to pit Mario Pinto versus Mick Parkin on the main card as well. That's a ranked heavyweight versus one of the best heavyweight prospects we got.
So right now, is this a 5-fight main card or 6?
It's 6. So then where this Curtis Campbell, Danny Silva fight, which I think should be the second fight of the night.
Okay.
You put either Mason Jones, Axel Sola, or you put Shaquem versus Al Sawadi. Even though it was a bad showing from both of them, the star power of both is so big.
So, Jack, I'm just curious. It's February 5th right now. This card isn't for over a month. You don't think this is going to be the final order, right?
It might be. Because from what they're doing, the UFC side of it, I kind of get it.
Okay.
Luke Riley has been this guy for the last 2.5 years who haven't fought much, but super hyped from the Pimblett camp. All finishes, basically. Champion at Cage Warriors, came in, had a rough first round, vicious knockout. That's a guy they want to push, and a fight night is the place to do it. Now, co-main event is crazy to me, but it is what it is. The part that annoys me is, no disrespect to Michael Aswell, what the fuck is he doing in the co-main event? If you're putting Luke Riley in the co-main event, you got to put him against maybe not someone necessarily great, but you got to put him up against someone exciting, another good name.
Right. Do you want to know what blows me away a little bit?
Hit me.
So what blows me away is with the amount of kind of tic-tac-toe a little bit, that's what I'm going to call it, that the UFC has sort of done to Movsar, that they're giving him a main event slot after all of the kind of the dismissals a little bit. They either caved in or they knew this all along and he just didn't want to tell anyone that, oh, we're actually rewarding him with a main event slot to beat a guy in his own territory to potentially get a title shot.
See, and I am seeing this as the opposite.
Okay.
Where in a couple of Movsar's fights now, it's like he does well, but like they're super close. The Aljo fight was close. The Allen fight was close. The Nick Lentz fight was close.
Right.
Lerone is in the same boat. He's had some close ones. He lost to Gabe Santos. You can't tell me otherwise. I think they're saying to Movsar, it's like, listen, buddy, you're fighting 5 rounds. You're going to this undefeated guy's hometown, and you have to fight him in the main event. I'm seeing it as the UFC wants a Lerone win. They do not want Movsar to win.
So they think he's going to do what he did at UFC 319 is what they're hoping.
I don't know if they're thinking that's going to happen, but I think they're praying that happens.
Because then they could sell Murphy versus Volk in England, right?
Or Australia. That was a fight that was supposed to happen. It didn't happen. He had to fight the number 1 contender. even though he was supposed to get the title shot, wins, beats the undefeated guy, gets the fight. Like, I think that's a good storyline.
Interesting. Okay. So kind of transitioning back now to your Volk argument here. Kind of tell me and be a little bit more specific as to what you were kind of getting on about this, because I am more than happy to follow up on this, because I went on a skating rant on my own show about why I think the Volk argument is shouldn't even be an argument. It should just be cemented at this point. But I will let you finish because you weren't quite done. So
Well, I just think like he dominated. He dominated the first fight. Not that he was like, oh my God, he was beating the shit out of Diego Lopez, but he was winning every round, give or take the second and fifth round or second and fourth round. This fight was the same difference. Like, he won every round. And it was just one of those things where Alexander Volkanovski, you're going to have to switch him off to beat him.
right, which is what Makhachev did.
That's
which is what Ilya
did. Like, exactly. His biggest weakness is when Volk is being pushed back, he leans back, and that chin comes up. Diego didn't push nearly enough. Anytime Diego started throwing wild, Volk's chin was there to be touched.
And he never followed up.
So it's on one hand, it's like great performance from Volk. He does what he does.
But again, don't you agree, Jack, now for the second UFC event in a row, you look at the challenger and you're like, what was the game plan? This is now 2 weeks in a row for, at least in my estimation, I've walked away from the main event feeling very confused about what the challenger was doing.
Kinda, yeah. I think 2 weeks ago was much more like, what the fuck is Patty doing?
No, for sure.
But
this kind of felt like it had a similar vibe because he just wasn't turning it up enough.
Literally, yeah. It was just like, you got to pressure him and knock him out, and you're not pressuring him, and you're not throwing. Like, I liked that Diego tried to wrestle a little bit more. I liked that in the first round, he was really getting after those leg kicks. But then again, really getting after those leg kicks broke his fucking feet because Volk's defense is that good.
Well, by the way, I don't think they were broken feet.
They're fractured.
Yeah.
That's broken in my book. And it's just like, that'll slow you down. Both your feet are messed up. So let's say one in round one, like his foot's messed up. He's not throwing. He's just not doing what he needs to do, not putting enough pressure. And I'm saying this, I love Diego Lopez. I have a Diego Lopez shirt somewhere right over here. And I love him to death, but he just needed to do more. And I think it's going to be the exact same thing that happened in the last fight, where he loses the Volk, he fights Gene Silva, turns it up to 11, goes fucking crazy, gets the finish win, comes back here to the spot he was, kind of settled back into that weird, like, slower pace. And now,
so wait. Are you implying that the UFC is going to book those two again?
So I think he's going to fight the loser of Lerone Movsar, which I think will be Lerone.
Okay.
I think Diego clears Lerone.
Okay.
Now,
so I have a question, because this is something they don't really do anymore, but I have to ask this. If he's back in a similar position again, okay, where he viciously knocks out Lerone in your scenario, okay, do they book the trilogy knowing that he's down 0-2? Or do they wait for Volk to either lose the title or eventually retire before giving him that opportunity?
You have to do another one. I would assume that he fights, let's tentatively, Lerone, and then if Gene Silva beats Yair or some shit, whoever he gets next,
okay,
then I could see them running the rematch.
Okay.
And then the winner gets a title shot.
Okay.
Speaking of Gene Silva, how fucking dumb is he online? He's like, it doesn't matter where you are in the rankings. If you're told to fight, the champions fight. And it's just like, you just lost, man.
Yeah. Not only that, he lost the fight he was winning until he got knocked out.
No. See, that's little bit of an irk with me. Anybody that says Gene Silva was winning that fight
Dude, he was looking unbelievable.
for 60 seconds, 60 seconds of round 2. What happened in round 1? Diego fucking R-worded him, took him down, and it was like, one man can hold you down. What can the second do? Couldn't get up. Second round, yeah, okay. Gene Silva was cooking for the first minute.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Gene Silva won a minute and a half of a 7.5 minute fight. Diego Lopez 10-8'd round 1.
Okay, that I would agree with.
Gene Silva wasn't winning shit.
Okay, your overall takeaway though, back to your Volk GOAT argument. I want you to finish that before I further validate.
He's the best of all time. He has as many defenses as Jose Aldo. I don't really care. Call me a new breed. Call me a casual. I don't really give a fuck about the WEC's defenses from Jose Aldo because all of those defenses turned to be like not even ranked competition in the UFC. Like Mike Brown, he did great when he left Strikeforce, right?
Yeah. See, I have the exact same argument as you do. You want to know what furthers the argument that people are clearly missing?
Give it to me.
Which is something that people have like forgotten about, even though it's Googleable information. He beat Jose Aldo at UFC 237.
See, I don't even really like that. Doesn't really matter to me because it was like he beat Aldo the same way Mario Batista beat Aldo, and I hate that. That's not being a better fighter, in my opinion. However,
I'm not saying he's better in that regard, but what I am saying though is if you want to further validate the argument, he has the head-to-head win over him.
Yeah, he does.
As another piece of that.
6 years ago.
Also, and I made this argument on my latest edition of Bando's Breakdowns. If you look at, and it's kind of what you were about to say, if you look at the level of competition that Aldo was beating in the early 2000s compared to who Volk had to beat to maintain being on top of at 145, it's not even comparable. Well, Volk sweeps that argument every single time.
See, like I'm just looking through it right now. The WEC, Cub Swanson, Jonathan Brookins. The other people aren't even worth mentioning. Mike Brown, Uriah Faber, Manny Gamburin. That's Strikeforce or WEC.
WEC.
The only one I'll give Cub Swanson the credit because he's awesome, but he's never been a top 5 guy.
No.
Like he's a fun, awesome fighter who's been around forever. But he's not a top 5 guy.
No.
Mike Brown didn't do shit in the UFC. Great coach, whatever. Uriah Faber, one of
probably one of the greatest WEC fighters of all time, though.
I was gonna say that, but also maybe the best WEC. Not even in questionably, in my opinion, the most overrated UFC fighter of all time.
It's a fair argument.
Manny Gamburin, unranked in the UFC.
And was only known for being on the Ultimate Fighter, and that was about it.
And then after that, Mark Hominick, journeyman. Kenny Florian, awesome fighter, known for losing big fights. Chad Mendez, awesome fighter. That I like that win from Jose. Like that's a good win. Frankie Edgar.
Not only that, he beat him twice.
Yeah, beat him twice. Frankie Edgar, good win. Chan Sung Jung, good win. Ricardo Lamas, he's aight. Local guy too, but he's aight. Yeah. Chad Mendez again, loses to Connor, beats Frankie again, loses to Max, beats Jeremy Stevens, beats Moicano, loses to Volk, loses to Moraes, loses to Jan, has his little resurgence, loses to Marab, loses to Batista, loses to Zahabi. Now that's Unk, but it's also like Volk beat fucking a ton of people coming in. Like, does he have as many fights? No. But he also beat, just from the bottom here, finished Jamie Malarkey, journeyman. Same as a lot of those other guys. Beat Yusuke Kasuya, whatever. Mizuto Hirota, whatever. Shane Young, local guy, kind of whatever win. Starting here, Jeremy Kennedy. My opinion, I would assume yours too, one of the best guys outside of the UFC after this point.
Yeah.
Darren Elkins dominated him. Chad Mendez.
Darren Elkins, though, to be fair, was always a fan favorite, though.
So. Agreed. But that's what I'm saying. Always tough.
Yeah.
Volk finished Chad Mendez. Volk beats Jose Aldo. Volk beats Max Holloway 3 times. Beats Prime Ortega. Beats
Although a lot of
Chandler
people
Young.
believe, I don't know how you feel, a lot of people believe he only beat him twice because I thought he lost the second fight.
I agree, but he 5-0'd him in the third, and I think that says everything.
Fair enough.
The Chan Sung Jung out of his prime, whatever, didn't touch him. Islam. I don't care what those scorecards said. I had a 3-2 Islam. Volk won that fight. I don't care.
I thought Volk won it too.
Yair, dominant. Bad, little stumble on the Islam Topuria, and then Diego twice. Like, I think if you put these guys against the guys Jose were fighting, well, we saw it. He beat Jose. He beat the guy who beat Jose every time. He beat Ortega. I just think the competition's better.
I do too. So we both have very similar arguments there. And yeah, I mean it's great. You can put him at number 2 if you want, meaning Aldo, but I think Volk has cleared that. I think we would be having a different conversation if he didn't regain the featherweight championship for the second time, but nonetheless though, it's history now. They're both tied with 8 title wins. He'll break that in his next fight, more than likely, and I think it's just a cool story. And without question, the greatest fighter to ever come out of that country, and it's not even remotely close.
The region, throw the New Zealanders in there too. No one can touch him.
You think he's better than Robert Whittaker too? Yeah, I think so too.
0 title defenses.
That's true. That's really the only argument you need to justify him not succeeding Volk. So
Izzy, you could argue Izzy. He's got 5. Volk's got 8. Doesn't matter.
It's very well said as well. What were your other takeaways on the card? And by the way, because we haven't done this yet, and we'll preview this at the end of the show, but going into this weekend, you are 16-8 and I am 14-10. What are your thoughts on the remainder of this card before we put it in the books and we move on to the first card of February?
Quick notes running through here. I want to toot my own horn. My road to UFC reads spot on. Did not equate for the vicious knee. I mean, I did. I said his knees were gross. Did not equate for the vicious knee with a minute left after a 13-minute domination. Other than that, we had the plus 200 dog Lawrence Louis. Picked that right. We had Don Marfan. Picked that right. All fun fights. Con Offley. Holy shit. Need to talk about this one. One of the worst decisions I've ever seen.
That was disgusting.
Not only.
Disgusting.
I'll give Offley round 1. I'll give him round 1. Round 2, 10-8. Drop that freaking guy all over the place. In round 3, how can you give round 3 to Offley? Yitso was beating his ass and throwing him all over the place.
I know. I know. Crazy. And he was off his back foot the entire third round if you didn't notice.
So terrible. So terrible. McAuliffe, crazy fight, crazy win.
It's a great fight.
Torres Finney, bad. He'll be back though.
You think so? Okay.
I hope so. Cam Rouston looked pretty good. Billy Alicana looked all right. Quillen looked good. Tollison versus Ty was something. Looked like I was in there.
Yeah, it was not good at all. Do we think Tai Tuivasa is going to get cut soon? That's now 6 losses in a row. What do we think?
I think he's like uncuttable. But I think it's a matter of like, does he quit? Because he could just go to BKFC and make like $200,000 a fight.
And he would do unbelievable in that.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a bunch of other fat guys. Like, he'd kill him.
Could you imagine how well, and we'll get to this in a second. Could you imagine how well he would do if he was able to convince some people to transition over to Zuffa Boxing? I'd like to see that. That'd make the heavyweight division kind of interesting.
I don't know, man. I don't know about just boxing. I like the bare knuckle. I want to see Ty bare knuckle.
Okay.
Huffy, Roofy, whatever you want to call him. Hell of a performance.
Great performance.
BSD, what I'm starting to notice, dude's
Okay.
kind of a victim in the first round. If
Yep.
you get off in the front foot on, if you get off on the front foot on BSD right away, he's not doing shit. And if you could just shuck off a takedown, he really ain't doing shit. His body's a little soft. However, that dude does not quit. And that dude, like, he will figure out a way eventually to start moving forward. And once he's moving forward, you're cooked. Like, it is. That was a wild one. He needs to fight Armin next, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd like to see that fight too. And my way too early pick is if Armand is incompetent, he might lose that.
No.
You don't think so?
I think Armin by knockout probably, but however he wants.
Okay. I just don't know if his mental state's going to be all there. But by the time that fight gets closer, if it does happen, I could be very wrong in saying that. So
It's a good
nonetheless,
fight. It's a good fight no matter what.
before we move on to kind of just the production elements of the event, what would you grade it overall? I give it a solid B. I th- I thought some of the main card fights were pretty good, and I thought the most impressive performance on the whole card was Huffy, and I think him calling out McGregor and or Chandler was the perfect move, and I think fighting either one of those guys would be, which obviously may not even happen, but for him to even be thinking that way, knowing that he's an exciting fighter and knowing that the viability of those fights are potentially there. I think that was a really smart call out. What did you think?
I agree. And I think it's smarter. He's not getting McGregor.
No.
However, I can see Dana being like, all right, Iron Mike, we're gonna see you at the top. You've been calling for Chandler for weeks. Or you've been calling for McGregor for years. We've got you, McGregor, but this McGregor's from Brazil. Good luck, buddy. And on like the White House or some shit. And I could see that happening right now. You wanted McGregor, you got McGregor.
I'd be very interested in seeing that. So, but yeah, overall though, I thought it was solid. I'm giving it a B. What are you giving it?
I'll give it a B as well.
Okay. All right, just briefly on the production, did you notice any major improvements? What did you think?
Major improvements. We got to see walkouts. Even if there were ads on the sides, mostly walkout. And we also got mostly corner work.
Except for the prelims, though. At least on my side, I didn't really see walkouts.
I think
or not walkouts, but corner work. My bad.
Corner work. And I think main cards started, and they started letting it go.
Yep.
So that was a nice change because 2 weeks ago was just the co-main. So they they pushed it forward a little bit. I think they made the ads smaller. Like they changed it to the border instead of taking up half the screen. But other than that, it was better. I liked it better than the first week.
Okay. I liked it better as well. You really didn't watch this, so I'll give my thoughts. I thought the second Zuffa show was a really well done show. The pacing.
I saw one fight.
What did you see?
The tattooed guy knocking out my Ukrainian dude.
That was a crazy fight, wasn't it?
That was a nuts one.
It was a crazy fight.
He was getting a belt put on him, and he said, "Nuh-uh."
Yeah, that's one of the best comebacks I've seen in a long time. That was insane.
What did you think?
Overall, though, I thought it was a solid show. The main event was a really good fight. Just the energy in the apex just sounded awesome. Like it seems that they've really figured out this formula through 2 shows to get as many people in the door as they can. And I may be a bit of a homer in saying this, but I like seeing all these up and coming prospects compete because it's guys that I now know are going to fight every 6 to 10 weeks, and I'm a little bit more invested because I know when they're fighting and who they're fighting. You know what I mean? So
I do like that a lot. My gripe, and this isn't just with Zuffa, this is with all of boxing. What the hell was the Van Hooter versus Gomez matchup?
That was stupid.
What? It would be like putting me up against Anthony Joshua. What are we doing?
Yeah. That was a total whitewash, wasn't it?
But I would say pretty good event.
Yeah, I'd say pretty
looked good.
Yeah, I'd say a pretty solid event is. Oh, the third Zuffa Boxing event is in 10 days from right now, and then of course in March it's the Jayo Pataya fight.
Hopefully,
And
we'll see Zain Bando in attendance. Go to his Instagram, go to his Zuffa Boxing post,
please
tag
do,
Dana,
please
tag
like it, please
UFC,
comment on it,
tag
please give me a
Zuffa.
Vegas. Yes, I wanna be there for that. Yeah. So
It'll work out.
I hope so, man. I've been to 15. Well, I've been to 14 UFCs. I hope 326 is my 15th. So please go like it. Please go comment on it. A bunch of um people affiliated with the UFC, let's just say, that have already seen it. So I'm holding out hope for the best. At least I hope so. By the way, for those of you who haven't entered in the giveaway, there's still time to enter into it. The latest you can enter in is for the next is for the next Zuffa Boxing which again, as I alluded to, is in 10 days. It's the Javante Williams main event. So if you guys haven't already done so, go in and do that. And yeah, put in your entry and see what that happens. I have no idea when they're announcing the winner. I don't think that's public yet, but hopefully somebody important wins it, and hopefully it's me.
I hope it'll be you too. And if you can't see it, it is here on his Instagram.
Oh, sure.
So we're on Zain Bando 99. Give it a follow. But right here, this BMF Zuffa Boxing Wolverine versus Hawaiian post. It is our boy stating his case to get to Zuffa Boxing 4. No one deserves it more. He's the diehard of all diehards.
I sure am, and it would be my third Vegas trip. If you guys have followed my UFC event attending journey, you'll know that I've gone to UFC 264 and UFC Vegas 98. My third trip to Vegas is for UFC 326, Power Slap 18, and the impending Zuffa Boxing show, which, quite frankly, being able to say that I saw Jayo Pataya before he fully took off into the next phase of his career would be pretty cool. So
I agree. I think that would be like a Rob Deerdeck Fantasy Factory type weekend for Zain Bando. Let's get
100%. And I've never been to Power Slap before. I've only heard crazy things.
Hey, I've been to a Power Slap, and let me tell you, I was a hater. That shit's fun as hell.
Did you like it in person?
I had a blast. Me and Baby Goose and my boy Evan Rodriguez, we all went, and man, it was a good time.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to see Wolverine in person because of how big he is. So that'd be pretty cool.
No, I make sure to go to his Instagram, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a repost, and we'll make sure Dana sees it.
Yeah, I hope so. Although according to some new court records, it looks like he doesn't really check a whole lot of messages these days. So I don't really know. Oh man, I don't know what's really going on. It seems that the courts are just painting him as the front guy. That's a very interesting story in itself, which I didn't have time to put on here. But
hey, I got no disrespect for the game, man. Roger Goodell, commissioner, does the same exact thing. It's all right. We need Dana. We need Dana to give you this weekend. Let's go.
That's 100% correct. And speaking of boxing, he gave his boxing Mount Rushmore. He was on a podcast called the Rushmore Podcast. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Jack. It's with Ari Emanuel. Apparently, they took 2 years off from doing it, and they came back with a bang. It was Dana White, Max Kellerman, and another content creator who I didn't know who he was.
Max Kellerman, my favorite guy on earth.
Sure is. So they went over to their boxing Mount Rushmore, but I'm here to tell you what Dana's was. I don't remember what their full one was like as a group, but his was interesting. So in no particular order, it was Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Muhammad Ali. What do you think of those four from Perez, if you will?
Go through that Rushmore again. You kind of cut out. I heard Muhammad Ali.
Sure. So it was Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Floyd Mayweather.
Interesting. I would say get Floyd the hell out of there. Let's put like Roberto Duran or something in there, and we'll call it a day.
Okay, interesting. let's actually. I'm gonna.
I also want to point out. I also just found out Ari Emanuel's Rushmore podcast is produced by football legend Pat McAfee. Very interesting.
Really? So that's why it looks so good. Okay, here.
Makes sense why Dana's been coming out the Pat McAfee show.
By the way, I'm gonna pull up the video now so you can see this for yourself. Because I'm curious to see what you think of it. Can you here, let me pop it up here.
Let's see.
Here we go.
Four, and let me sort of explain myself too. I look at things from a different perspective than most people do because
here we go.
I look at the business side of it too.
Okay, so you're going to put your criteria is also the business.
Always
side.
been that way in boxing. Always been that way.
So Muhammad Ali, is my number one.
I don't think there's going to be a real argument there.
Yeah, I agree. There will be though. Number 2 is Sugar Ray Robinson. My number 3 is Floyd Mayweather, and my number 4 is Mike Tyson.
Okay, so given that you've now seen the clip, I'm curious. You would have put Roberto Duran in there, but I'm also curious. How would you, if you were doing your own, how would you rearrange it? And then I will give who I would have put on my Mount Rushmore, because my Mount Rushmore is actually quite different than his Mount Rushmore would ever be considered. Oh, he dropped. Hopefully he comes back in. So we just lost Jack Gold. He lost his connection, but we're still live. Thanks to the 73 people who are watching this. Hopefully he comes back in. Hopefully he comes back in. Nonetheless, that we were going through his Mount Rushmore, and then we were about to give our own. Hopefully he comes back in just a second. But yeah, thanks again to all of you guys who are watching. Just to tell you guys what's coming up the rest of the stream, now that we have a minute to discuss this. After we go through our Mount Rushmores, then we're going to get into a few other news and notes before getting into previewing very briefly UFC Vegas 113, as well as the PFL Road to Dubai card, which is Saturday morning. It precedes the UFC event. So. And he says he's trying. He's coming back, and I think we're getting this in real time. But yeah, he should be coming back in just a few seconds. Thank you guys for staying put. And by the way, while we're here, we are live right now on YouTube, a bunch of different places. My YouTube, his YouTube, the ETB Network YouTube channel, the ETB Network X account, Bando's Breakdowns, Zain Bando 99, and of course the MMA Outsiders as well. So far, you've been watching episode 155 of the MMA Outsiders. This is a live edition of the show. It airs, for those of you who've potentially only seen this for the first time, we're on every Thursday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, on all those platforms that I just mentioned. So thank you again for sticking around here. And we've been doing this live format now for a couple of weeks. We've been doing it since the beginning of 2026. So it's been fun to do that as well. Hopefully he comes back. Oh, he's back in.
Hello.
My guy, you're back in. We lost you.
I think so.
We lost you, but I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Heck yeah, we're back. We're on the phone. My computer decided to stop working on us.
No, I get it. So we were in the middle of discussing our Mount Rushmores. You had a bit of a different Mount Rushmore. You were going to put Roberto Duran in there. How would you, given that that's the case, how would you rearrange your Mount Rushmore given that factoid, if you will? Then I'll give you mine, and then we will be able to move on from there.
I think my Mount Rushmore, after thinking about it a little more, just from fighters I like, because I don't think I can say anything. Listen, my Mount Rushmore, because I of fighters I've watched, it would have to be Floyd, it would have to be Lomachenko, it would have to be probably Tyson Fury, and it would probably be just personal favorite Nick Ball. Now, all time, it would probably be Ali from the highlights, Duran. I love watching Duran clips. I love watching Thomas Hearns clips, and I love watching Marvin Hagler clips. So I don't know if that's a good list or not, but that's who I like.
Okay, can I give you my Mount Rushmore?
Hit me.
So we're going. This is in no particular order. So I don't want anybody to judge me on this. So full disclosure, no particular order. And in fact, the 4 names I'm about to give you, they're so good that I don't even know how you would really order them because how good.
I'm still listening. I'll be right back. My dog's at the door.
Okay, no problem. So anyway, with that said, here are my 4. I've got Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and oh geez, and probably I'm gonna go.
Pacquiao. I forgot about Manny.
And then probably my 4th. Although this is a bit controversial, this is going back a little bit. I'd have to think about it more. My 4th would probably be a tie between Jack Dempsey and Sugar Ray Robinson. But if I was going to choose one, I would probably choose Dempsey because he was the star boxer of the 1920s. So
I like that.
But that's that. So that was just a brief capsule of his Mount Rushmore. We're going to move on now to some other news and notes. It's looking like from reputable sources, particularly a source out of Mexico, I think, is now saying that Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje, 90% likely. It seems like his divorce proceedings are over now. Or now he's back in training, and that's the fight he wants. June 14th at the White House. How are we feeling? Do you think that they're at the 1 yard line? Do you think they're going to get this done? What do we think?
I said it on the show after 324. I would bet every dollar and asset I have Ilia versus Justin Gaethje is headlining the White House card. Maybe not headlining the main event, but co-main event, feature fight. I think it's going to be the main event, but it will be on that card.
Okay, so I have to know because you kind of dangled a carrot there. If it isn't the main event, what would be the main event for the UFC White House card?
Man, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, could they decide to wait on this and decide to do something with Sugar and Peter? Could they decide to sign freaking Gable, and Gable fights twice before June and somehow he's the main event? Like, I don't know. Like, crazier stuff has happened, but I would be like,
I don't think Paramount executives would be interested in seeing a 2-0 guy headline a White House fight.
oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they sign him because he fights February 21st, let's say he fights in March and April and May. And then he's like, I want the fight for the title in June. And he just speed runs the UFC. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, though, the caveat to that is that Brock Lesnar, when he came into the UFC, he was already a known superstar in the WWE. So they had more to market there.
But I think Gable's just better. Like, I think Gable would beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar.
Wait, but what era? Okay, so that's an interesting thing you just brought up. What era of Lesnar are we talking about, though?
Prime Lesnar.
Interesting. Okay.
I think I was a Gable hater, and I was like, oh, you could get Chin. He's good. He's that good. He's that good.
So speaking of heavyweights, Boxing Scene is reporting the possibility that Zuffa Boxing all of a sudden wants to change its business model and wants to somehow sometimes, not all the time, from the report that I read, where it seems like they want to do these one-off big-time super fights, similar to what they did with Canelo Crawford, even though that technically wasn't Zuffa Boxing. That was the Ring magazine coming together with TKO to make the Canelo Crawford fight happen. But apparently, under the Zuffa Boxing model, they want Fury versus Joshua potentially later this year, probably at a stadium on Netflix. If this fight were to happen, do you think Zuffa Boxing is the promoter that gets it done? Do you think this fight does happen? If it does happen, where are you taking? Do you think this fight's a few years too late? Like late on me. What do we think here?
I think it's definitely a couple years too late. However, because okay, am I wrong in saying that like, and I used to love Tyson Fury. He was the man. But it was just like, am I wrong in saying that the mystique is gone from both of them?
No, you're not.
Because it's like, when that fight was supposed to happen,
I'd rather see one of these two guys fight Joseph Parker. To be honest with you, I want to worry about the future of the heavyweight division, not what the heavyweight division used to be. You know what I mean?
I could see what you're saying. It's just like one of those weird things where it's like, this is why boxing for me is not the best. Because it's like, okay, you've got these guys in their prime who AJ's only lost once to like kind of a fluky Matt Serra type deal, GSP type deal, gets the revenge, gets the win, gets more wins, and it's like, okay, it's going to be Fury versus Joshua. We're ready. The two biggest UK stars ever. And then it's Fury Usyk. And you're like, huh? And then freaking Joshua gets his...
And then Usyk beats Fury twice.
Yeah. And then Usyk beats Fury. And then Joshua gets his fucking clock cleaned by Dubois.
In a terrible fight, by the way.
In a terrible fight. Tyson Fury loses to Francis Ngannou.
Right.
It's just like... he won that fight. The only thing that he won was the paycheck because his aura is gone.
Right.
And
because if
Wilder was shit. Turns out Wilder was never good.
Because if that fight legitimately went down the way it was supposed to, he would have destroyed Francis, and he didn't do it.
And now I don't know if this is credit to Francis or credit to Tyson Fury, because fucking we were together for this. Anthony Joshua couldn't knock out Jake Paul.
Right.
I hate boxing. What I love is guys like, I said his name earlier, I'll say his name again, Nick Ball. Nick Ball is the MVP of boxing right now. Little freaking guy comes to scrap. It's just like, man, I hate it. Because how many times is Fury retired? 7?
6 or 7, yeah.
And he freaking... So every time he retires, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Joshua, he's gone through, like, it's just... I don't know if this fight happens, and if it does happen, it's 5 years too late.
Okay, last question I have on this before we move on. Is Zuffa Boxing the promoter to put this on, or is it going to be a different promoter, do you think?
No, I think it'll be them. It's going to be them or, like, Queensberry or something.
Okay. Do you think it could be a collaboration between the two, or no?
Maybe it's like a Frank Warren special. I don't know.
Okay. Very interesting. All right, let's move on now. We have a few minutes to go in the stream. Let's get to the last two topics here, and let's go rapid fire with a couple minutes to go. UFC returns to Las Vegas for the second time this year, except this time it's a fight night card, UFC Fight Night 266, better known as UFC Vegas 113. Mario Batista, Vinicius Oliveira in the main event of the evening. Let's start at the main event here just because we're kind of running out of time. Who are we taking? I got Mario Batista in the third round by stoppage. What about you? Who are you taking?
I've also got Mario Bautista. I'll say decision.
Okay, so we both agree on the main event. We'll get at the co-main event now. Amir Albazi versus Horiguchi. Who are we taking in that fight, and by what method?
I'm taking Horiguchi by knockout.
In what round?
3.
Want to go a little deeper as to why you think that? Because I think that's pretty bold. Miro Basi doesn't usually get knocked out.
I think I mean, man, his neck's fucked up. He's been out for like 2 years for neck surgery after neck surgery after neck surgery. I think Kyoji's going to freaking head kick him silly. Maybe not a knockout, but he's going to go jelly legged and he'll follow up.
Okay, so you're taking Horiguchi in the co-main because I'm also taking Horiguchi as well.
Perfect. I like that.
All right, let's move on to the next one, shall we?
We shall.
All right, next fight we got a battle of the heavyweights here: Jalton Almeida versus Rizvan Kuniev. I think there's a potential for a finish here. Who are we taking in this one? Because this one we might disagree on. So
I am tending to take Kuniev as an underdog.
okay, I'm taking Jalton Almeida. Why do you like Kuniev?
I just like how he did against Blades, and I think Gilton is not as good as Blades. Therefore, I think Kuniev can win.
Okay, and you think he wins by decision, or you think he finishes?
Yeah,
Almeida?
probably decision.
Okay, very interesting. All right, let's move on to the next fight here. We're moving along the card. Should be a pretty interesting card if you're a hardcore fan overall. Michael Owen Chaychuk versus Marc-Andre Barriault. I think Owen Chaychuk wins this fight, and I think it's a fun fight. I think it has a chance to be a fight of the night. I got
My
Owen
goats.
Chaychuk. I got Owen Chaychuk by decision. What about you?
I've got my goat Mikhalo and Jacek by first round knockout.
And how quickly did he knock him out?
2 minutes and 23 seconds into round number 1.
That's bold. Are you willing to put a bet on that or no?
Yeah. I'll put $5 on first round knockout.
All right. Gene Matsumoto and Farad Basharad, who do you got?
I'm taking Gene Matsumoto. They have him as a plus 235 dog in this fight.
Interesting.
Who are you taking?
I got Matsumoto as well. I think this is a chance to also be a fight of the night contender potentially. So I think he's a fun fighter too, and he always makes the apex go nuts, and he pretty much always fights the apex these days. So I think he's gotten used to it. When do you agree?
I agree.
So there's that as well. Moving down to the main card opener, Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. Obviously, Walker is a former NFL player. Dustin Jacoby's been around a long time. These are two heavy hitters. Who do we got?
I don't think Julius Walker was a basketball player.
Oh, right. You're right. I don't know who I remember now. He's no longer in the UFC anymore. I think I was referring to or I was thinking about Austin Lane. But yeah, former basketball.
Austin Lane fighting on that March London card versus Iwo Baranowski.
Yeah. Nonetheless, though, who do you got? Jacoby with a little bit more experience, or do you have the former multi-sport athlete in Walker?
I'm taking Jacoby by knockout.
Okay, I like Jacoby as well. So we are in agreement, minus one fight on the main card. How do we feel about that?
I like it. Let's hit the prelims.
All right, here we go. So the prelims, which are going to be a drag in my opinion, because usually Apex prelims are. You know it better than anyone. So the main event of the prelims, Alex Morono, been around a long time, versus former Ultimate Fighter winner, if I'm not mistaken, Daniil Donchenko in the main event of the undercard. Do we Donchenko to move to 2-0 in the UFC, or do we like Morono because of his experience? What do we think?
I like Daniil Donchenko.
I like
by
Donchenko
decision.
as well. By decision, is it a dominant one or a close fight?
I think it'll be like dominant for 2 rounds, and then Morono like sneaks one.
Okay, I like Donchenko as well. I think we're going to be in synergy for much of this card as I keep eyeballing it here. Okay, moving right along, we have Nico Price, who's been in the UFC way too long, taking on Nikolai.
Veretennikov.
Yeah, for Verlin Tennikov. I got Nikolai winning in the first round by TKO. What do you think?
I also am going to take Nikolai to get the job done.
Okay, and then Brazil versus Souza. Who do you got in that one? I got Souza by decision.
I also have Souza by decision.
Okay, and do you think it's a boring fight or do you think it's a good fight?
Probably a little boring.
All right, you want to move on to the next one now?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. So then we have, oh my god. Then we have moving right down the card. We've got, okay, here we go. So we've got the fourth to last fight on the card. Said Nurmagomedov versus Javad Basharat. I don't usually pick against Nurmagomedov. I'm not going to do it this time either. I think Nurmagomedov decision is the smart play here. What do we think?
Well, I hate to break it to you, Said Nurmagomedov is out of this fight.
Oh, really?
And he is fighting. Give me one moment. He is fighting Gianni Vasquez.
Really?
Short notice. Gianni Vasquez is 13-4-1. He has beaten Trevor Wells by decision, and he gave David Martinez his only split decision loss.
Who are you taking?
Javid Basharat.
I like Bachelor as well. Thank you for the late notice. What happened on the Nurmagomedov side? Is it
Unsure.
or no?
Unsure.
Okay. Very interesting. And when was this late notice replacement fight made? Today. Right?
Today.
Okay. Gotcha. Very cool. Okay. Moving right along. We know that. All right. And then any other changes I should be aware of as we round this out?
I think that's it. I think we what's next? Kong Wang versus Eduardo Mora.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to be taking Mora in that one.
I'm taking Mora as well. And then Gaffarov or Wicklass. Who do you got in the next one? Wicklass is trying to keep his momentum rolling, if you will. Although his last fight, would you agree, was a little bit lackluster?
I think I'm going to take Wicklass. I think I like him.
I am going to take him as well.
And then the last fight of the first fight of the night, technically, Claudia Segulia versus Priscilla Cachoeira.
I got Cachoeira. What about you?
Me too.
And are you taking her by decision? Because that's how she usually wins anyway.
I'm taking her by knockout.
How come?
Think she's just one of those girls, man. She got that power.
And she's also really exciting, at least for the most part. So
agreed.
We like that as well. So we agree on most of these fights, which I think is good. So that could make for a solid night at the office, if you will. So all right, so that is UFC Vegas 113 in a nutshell. Let's go through this last one fairly quickly. Preceding the card is PFL Road to Dubai, Usman Nurmagomedov, Alfie Davis from the Coca-Cola Arena at the United Arab Emirates. Jack, this card overall is not the strongest, but who do you like at the very least in the main event? Then if you want to go rapid fire on the rest of your picks, you can. If not, and you'd rather let the suspense stay until Saturday morning, we can do that too. But I will let you have the floor first on the main event of the evening.
I think this is gonna
championship.
I think this is gonna be an Usman wash. I like Alfie Davis, but I think it's gonna be too much for him.
I think so too. What do you think of his trash talk leading up to this fight? It seems like he's really trying to get into the heads of the Nurmagomedov camp. Do you think it's a mistake, or do you think that this is a mental warfare style game that he's trying to play?
I love it. If you talk that shit, walk your shit, and he does that. So I like it. I like someone who can talk and back it up. Can he back it up this week? I'm not so sure, but I like that he's trying.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either. Any other initial thoughts on this card before we scoot on out of here for the afternoon? What do we
England, my guy, gets his big shot at a big promotion, terrible matchup, and I hate it. It's Amaru Magomedov. But, hey, maybe a miracle could happen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, this card is not the strongest per se, but if you like some exciting fights, you'll get some. That's a noon Eastern main card start, 9 a.m. Eastern undercard start. And yeah, that's going to do it for another edition of the MMA Outsiders. Thank you again, Jack, for joining me.
Sorry about the technical difficulties earlier. I don't know what happened.
No, don't even worry. But thanks to the 73 people who joined the stream. We really appreciate you. Be sure to like and subscribe. YouTube.com/EDB Network is where you're going to want to do that. Again, I'm Zain Bando. He's Jack Gold. And yeah, we're looking forward to next week. And speaking of next week, I can plug it right here. It's going to be the MMA Outsiders episode 156. That will be next Friday, February. Well, actually, I don't even think that that date is correct. But nonetheless, though, it will be next Friday, as per usual. We're gonna go through everything there is to know in the world in combat sports. Jack, do you want to if you kind of what we're gonna be talking about, considering there won't be a UFC event next week?
We're going to be talking about Valentine's Day. No, I'm kidding. We're going to be talking about UFC Houston maybe a little bit about March 7th, maybe a little about Mexico and that little switch up that happened. We'll talk about the future, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about the future for sure. And yeah, actually, let me help myself on this now that I have it. It's going to be actually, this is funny. It'll be our first show ever that will be Friday the 13th. So it's going to be Friday, February 13th, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on all these different platforms. You won't want to miss it. And yeah, we'll talk about the future for sure. And we'll also have another Zuffa Boxing card to preview, which I'm kind of excited about. So there's not going to be UFC, but there's still going to be Zuffa-based content, so you can't really complain. But before we go, do you think we're going to get some announcements about said White House card next week, or is it going to be another week where we're not going to get anything at all?
So, listen. I would bet that we don't get a card till April.
What? Dude, that's way too late.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
10 weeks?
I think so.
My thing is just look how the UFC's been operating. We didn't have an International Fight Week card until 2.5 weeks prior.
Well, that's true. Although, didn't there? Well. By the way, I meant to mention this. It's come out in court now because the UFC is testifying because of their antitrust lawsuit stuff going on. That apparently there was contract hold up in the Ilia Topuria Oliveira negotiation until the week of the fight, and some are saying the day of the fight.
Crazy.
So. You could be right in
I think it'll be the first or second week of April we get a fight card.
Okay. All right. And if you were to guess right now, it's February 5th, 2026. If you were to make a prediction, are we getting Ilya versus Gaethje in the main event, or at least on the card, or is the answer
yes?
No?
Yes,
okay.
we will.
And will it be the main event or no?
Yes.
See, I don't think so.
What do you think will be the main event?
It's gonna be Jones versus Pereira.
I don't think so.
That's what I think.
Interesting. We'll see.
That's what I think. And I think and I'm gonna make a prediction now. There's gonna be no Connor, and there's gonna be no Connor. Here are my 3 big predictions. No Connor, no Chandler, no Pimblett. That's what
I think we definitely get Chandler.
Okay.
No Connor, no Pimblett.
So with that said, and this will be the final question I ask you before we get off, who are you banking that Michael Chandler fights on the White House card if it's not Conor McGregor? Is it the loser of the BMF fight? Is it the winner of the BMF fight? What are we thinking?
Bro, McGregor or Michael Chandler, you're getting Brazilian McGregor. He is getting McGregor. His name is just going to be Mauricio Huffy online.
Okay. So you actually think that's the fight that they're going to try to target?
I think that's the fight that's going to get made. Yeah.
Very interesting. So that is a perfect way to put a bow on all this stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream. We greatly appreciate you. Have a great rest of your Thursday. If you're watching the Super Bowl this weekend, do so safely. Have some fun. And hopefully we will see a new Super Bowl champion and a first-time quarterback be crowned a champion. But until next week, he's Jack Gold. I'm Zain Bando. Catch you guys soon, and cheers, everyone. Thanks.